welcome to the official Outsiders _OFXS podcast number 1.
Juan.
We won't be deleting anything out of this one. It's straight one shot, one kill. What's the deal? We won't get canceled, hopefully. All right, so what we got today?
Hopefully
what
not.
We got going today, Douglas?
So I kind of was. These are the notes here. It's gonna be too blown out, I think, for that. But
probably not gonna see it.
No. But I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know if we should do like a get to know us part since it's like the first episode, or if we should just hop into like BS or whatever we want to talk about.
We have a topic called just BS. They know about us. We build cars. Sometimes they're cool. Sometimes they're not cool, but we build cars.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Track them, show them, drive around in them.
Track them, show them. That's the best combo is tracking and showing, if we can.
I agree. Why is that, though? I know why it is for me. Why is it for you?
The best combo? I think it takes kind of more of like an elite type of owner, honestly, to be able to do both. Because if you're gonna have a show car, you're gonna be picky about how clean it is and like how nice we want it. But then at the track, a lot of those guys don't care what their car looks like as long as it's mechanically running and they can get around that track as fast as possible. That's all they care about. But like if you're doing both,
you're onto something there.
That's tough.
My thing is gonna make people mad probably, but why not? Because I don't care. Nobody wants to go to the track to see a track rat that's taped up.
Nah, I don't want to.
That has crusty thing. Nobody wants to see a slap together car going around the track because anybody can. I'm not gonna say anybody can do it, but there's nothing on the line if you're taking a car that's salvage title, rebuild title. You got whatever parts on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing as drifting. Nobody wants to see all missiles.
No.
I know that's gonna.
Drifting's. See that one's. Yeah. Drifting's tough.
You gotta have your practice car, and then you gotta have the good car. Nobody wants to see the practice car all the time because then you just do whatever because you have nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
The practice car. It's the missile. You don't care. As long as it runs and you can slide with it, and then you learn on it. But I mean, I think the end goal is to have a car that looks good, and then you use the skills that you learn from the missile and drive the nice car good.
Yeah. I think that's where Japan comes in, because Japan, like watching like Sticky Dojo videos and stuff like that, he'll be walking around some of these cars at the track, and it's like they're like pristine, but those dudes are beating the crap out of them all the time.
And I'm sure they have their missiles too, but they're not exclusively driving the missiles around.
And I love how those are still like mostly B series, still have like all the wires in them, everything. There's like no wire tuck, no nothing. It's just like old school.
I think that gets into another topic. These like strictly show cars that have wire tucks and stuff like that. They're nice to look at, but like I imagine troubleshooting them is a nightmare. And especially if you track your show car or whatever, you don't want to be hunting for potential issues at the track in a wire tucked car. But me.
I didn't think about troubleshoot, honestly. I didn't think about that. I mean, I guess if you get a good harness, like ride wire harness or something like that, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure. I guess it's you shouldn't have to troubleshoot it, but you know how that goes. You will always have to troubleshoot something.
Shouldn't.
It's one of those, like, never say never things, and then you're at the track trying to figure out why the fuel pump has no power going to it or whatever.
That's like you trying to figure out the issues on red. All those little random things.
I don't even want to get into that, man. I mean, okay, so like with that car, I was prepared for the old age repairs.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff was like, man, this is just installed wrong. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That brake pad that was upside down in it, that was one that was like, sheesh. I didn't. I was like, how is this? How is this possible? And we actually took that pad out and flipped it around, and it worked both ways. So it was crazy, and it was some legit like eBay pads, which
Oh shit.
eBay pads. I mean, it's whatever, but the car's great now.
Probably like AutoZone pads or something.
They were legit eBay pads because I looked them up on eBay. They had a part number on it. I was like, the pads are like green or something like that. It has a green backer on it. So I looked it up. I was like, are these just some like Project Muse or something like that that didn't have like a Project Muse stamp or something on it? No, it was straight up eBay Mew, bro. eBay Mew.
eBay. Oh shit! I forgot that was we've talked about that before, but how that brake pad was upside down, and then how a car I got because it was stance had the two wheel spacers in the front
Stacked.
They were stacked together, yeah.
All right, were they bolt-on spacers? Or like slip-ons?
One was slipped on, and then the bolt-on was on top.
Wait, hold on. Wait. The slip-on spacer was installed first.
Yeah.
You know why, right?
Because the hub bore.
No, because the studs, the original studs, would be touching the back pad of the wheel otherwise.
Well, that
spaced it off, and then.
Well, also though, those spacers for the front didn't fit over the hub like perfectly.
Thick.
It was too small.
Fantastic.
So. Stance.
Speaking of stance, what's up with old boy's car who's burnt down the other day?
Oh, the C4 Call of Duty dude. That's what I'm thinking. He just was like toss. It's like, why does Instagram hate my car?
Yeah, we gotta.
Some people.
I don't know, man. We gotta. I'm not saying there was definitely a fire.
there was
certainly a fire.
There was a mishap.
Something done went wrong.
That was wrong. Yeah, that I don't know, man. Some people were like saying in the comments, like, you know, don't talk whatever about it because him and his grandpa built it, and I'm like, bro, I hope there was no sentimental value in that thing because those welds, you saw those welds.
All right, so like I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, man, I mean, it still sucks no matter what because he lost his car. But
yeah, okay, yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
First, I was like, wow, somebody like actually went through all this trouble to like destroy this car. And then I remembered what I saw about the car, like when it first came out, and these like booger welds, and I was like, all right, well, if the suspension's booger welded, and then he had another video that had the like something about he like jerry rigged some like starter something, I don't know. And I was like, oh well, not a good look, if you know what I'm saying. As far as
that car was far from safe to drive.
Yeah, no.
I mean, because that was the same car that the trailer video was going around, like him just driving up like fast, right?
Yeah, or taking it off the trailer or something like that. I don't know, but even the walk around video or whatever of it, like it looks like it started under the hood. And we're not going to spend the whole time discussing
it. It did look front oriented.
Yeah. And apparently an accelerant was added to it. I was like, sounds a lot like gasoline.
I was going to say gas, the injectors, or everything's right there. I don't know.
Yep.
Of course. I mean,
I don't know.
That car was just, hey man, sorry your car's gone.
Right. Nobody deserves that.
Yeah.
But, like, if you did it yourself, that sucks for you. Like, why would you? Hoping he didn't do it himself, but you never know. In this day and age of clout chasing, you never know, man. You never know.
Dude, he's like, why would they do this? Meanwhile, he did it or he probably didn't even, who knows if he did anything, but like the car probably did something. And he's like, I can't believe somebody would do this to my car. And then maybe he's trying to do that for insurance.
True. According to him, he took the insurance off it. but the story gets real deep, and a lot of it is like nobody's really sure what exactly is going on. I don't know.
I don't know much about it, other than just like just the post I've seen and then some of the funny pictures. But
Yeah,
it does suck to lose your car, but still.
man, it got memed up real quick though. Real quick. They wasted no time on
No,
memeing
the internet doesn't care.
Ruthless.
It's bad. I was gonna
We got a whole bunch of spicy topics, man. A whole bunch of other ones. I gotta check my handy dandy. I check the laptop here to see what the other topics are.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna send this to you. Oh my God, sorry. I'm gonna send you this guy on Instagram. He makes holsters.
All right.
And it looks like he's just, it's like his side hustle. And you know how I am. I like to support the
Side hustle homies.
small business type people. And he's like making these nice holsters. So I'll probably get one for my Glock, my 19.
Yeah, I need to get something. I don't know. Whenever I'm at a good spot with the S2000, I'll
More
jump in.
gun. Yeah. You still have yours is the VP9, right?
Yeah, the SK. I wanted to get
That's the full size, or is it
subcompact.
sub?
I wanted to get a red dot for it.
Yeah.
But I had to gotta get the slides sent off to get machined so I can install one on it. But it's I don't know. When it gets to that, I'll do it. But right now, too much other stuff going on. All right, so
I was thinking about that.
I don't know what we got for a list of things, but
so, dude, I write down just like everything. Like
I wrote down I screenshotted everything.
So, I can send this to you as well. Like, I write down stuff just like normal life stuff, car stuff I find interesting.
Yeah, people wanted to go immediately into spicy topics. Like,
yeah. Oh, those two, yeah.
We got just from my DMs alone, we got Ethan Heck. He wants to know, well, he's just opinions on grassroots motorsports and people being in the cars because it's trendy. I think that a lot of that is to do with like TikTok, and people see kids these days see people getting famous from TikTok, and especially through like random car videos, and they want to do it too without actually caring about cars. And
yeah, you can tell most of the kids who are out here trying to race everybody on the streets are the ones that don't actually care.
That, and it's not that there's anything wrong with just having a basically modded car or whatever. You're dipping your toe into car modding, and that's nothing wrong with that. I'm never going to make fun of somebody for not having the best parts because you just started, or or just saving up for a while and you have like a couple of mods on your car and they're all genuine or whatever. I'm not going to make fun of you for that. But like, you remember the quick release trend?
Yeah.
Pop your wheel on there and then spin it around, and then you wait for the click, and then the click became like a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like people just wanted quick releases because they made a sound.
Yeah.
Not knowing that I literally can't get into my vehicle with pop the wheel.
Yeah. Like, no, dude. Like, I actually take this off so I can get out.
Right. It's the whole glass. It's the whole thing like glasses. Like, you wear glasses because it's trendy. Like, I literally can't see wearing glasses.
I know. I was like, should I wear my glasses? I was like, no, I'm close enough. I'll see him.
Yeah, no, I can't. If I take mine off, I can't see. Boy, I'm blind. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. My mind's going so many different places on this. So it is trendy for like the TikTok crowd and stuff like that.
It's trendy for the weird, like, the wannabe like clout for it, or for whatever reason, or
people just want those comments and likes and reshares and whatever else. But like, they really care. Not that obviously that doesn't go for everybody, but the current I would say a lot of the I don't know, a lot of the influencers or whatever, not really in it for the love. And that, I mean, it's I'm not gonna be one of those people that preaches, oh yeah, do car stuff because you love it. Do it for whatever reason floats your boat, but then don't expect everybody to jump on board with it.
Yeah, and then too, like you want to build something like when you're building. I feel when you're building a car, it's an extension of yourself. So like how that car is perceived is almost like when you pull up to a nice car meet or just like you're chilling with your friends, but that's like the first impression that you'll give off.
That's true.
So like you got a bunch of cheap I don't want to be like that type of person to say the cheap parts because like I know some people just
everybody starts somewhere.
Everybody starts somewhere, and you start. So like my nickname was eBay because I would just buy everything off eBay. So like a lot of times if I could, I would buy the name brand stuff off eBay because a lot of times it was just free shipping, so I would save on the shipping. But
I did that.
I for sure bought eBay coilovers. I for sure bought eBay camber kits. I for sure bought, rep wheels off of there. I've done all that, but now like there's different levels, and then once you start noticing those levels, and you're like, well, I'd like to actually support like the wheel. Like I'm gonna invest my money in these wheels. So then like, okay, I know I'm gonna, since I've had over 150 sets of wheels, you're like, I know I'm gonna sell these wheels. So it's like you want to get something that will hold its value.
Yeah, I think it's worse on you if you buy the cheap stuff because then resale sucks. Because you're not gonna have
resale sucks, and you could have taken that chunk of money and put it towards. I mean, dude, real wheels nowadays, like if we're talking 14s and 15s, some 16s,
yeah,
like you can get them for sometimes sub 1,000, sometimes under $1,500 bucks.
Get some old school Works or
nice
SSR,
sorry, yeah,
whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't have to be TEs.
No, but then you start.
Also like,
go ahead.
It's also like people say TEs are played out now. I love them. I've always loved them. I'm not gonna like not run them because they're all of a sudden played out. Yeah. And the reason why like TEs were sort of the unobtainable wheel for Subaru because it was a hard fitment. The 18 by 9.5 plus 22 on Subarus, and that was like, I mean, you got to do some fender work, you got to stretch tires. It wasn't a bolt-on fitment. And then eventually they got released in 18 by 10 plus 40 for the GRs, and then 18 by 9.5 plus 38, and it's like 9.5 38 is standard issue.
Yeah.
Aggressive fitment for Subaru, so they got really easy, and that's why you see them so often now because there's not a lot of work. I mean, you roll the fenders, stretch the tire. You don't even have to add camber or anything crazy; it'll fit. And so,
do Subarus with Subarus? I'm assuming because all-wheel drive, they don't naturally gain a lot of camber, do they, from lowering, or do they?
The rear does. I think the front's, yeah, because the front's like a multi-point, or what do they call it? Multi-link rear. It's got a trailing arm. It's got lateral links. But the front's just your regular McPherson. So the rear definitely gains negative camber when you lower it, and then the front stays pretty much the same or gains some positive camber. But on compression, the fronts get more positive. The rears gain negative camber on compression. So
damn.
But I see a lot of the track guys, they run a lot of static negative camber in the front. So they run like 3-4 degrees in the front just because when you compress it, it loses some of that negative camber. But
so is it almost like S2000 guys, they want more front camber than in the rear?
Yeah, I think that's like the typical track setup is more camber in the front than the rear because the Subarus run it too. And
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But the S2000 gains camber as you compress it. So
I've never been able to get more in my front than my rear with my stock stuff, unfortunately.
I think I'm not maxed out at all as far as camber goes on the S2000, but I think I'm like 0.1. It's basically square camber, like negative 2.5, negative 2.6 all the way around. I want to say like,
ooh, that's nice.
0.1 degrees more than the rear. Or the other way around, I don't know, just because I'm AP1 and I was scared of the AP1 biting me. But
I never felt it. Like, because what they say it's snap oversteer, right?
Yeah. No,
See,
I
like,
felt it.
well, I also can't speak on like proper terms because I had the Voltex front bumper, I had the Voltex wing, I had a top one rear diffuser.
Yep.
So like on turn 7 at Road Atlanta, I liked that turn in third before the long straight for 10A and 10B.
Yeah.
But I noticed the guy was going to second in another S2000, so I was like, let me try second. And I had my instructor, and when I had second and I got into it early, it started to slide out. But I just stayed. Yeah, so I just stayed in it, and it straightened itself out. But I was like, no, I like third better because of that. I didn't want to deal with the snap. Yeah.
Being no aero, it's a handful. But
Dude, that dude who was hitting that turn in second was a red S2000 with no aero, had like a Burke exhaust and some wheels and tires, and was kicking my butt on that track. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It was an AP1.
Ooh, I'm trying to. All I saw was his rear bumper, so yeah, it was.
It was an AP1. Nice.
Yeah.
He
was moving, dude. He was moving, and I was like, that's when it really set in. I was like, seat time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have the EVS tow arms in the rear of my red AP1, and it apparently helps a lot. I haven't tracked it without the tow arms, but
ooh, yeah.
I think they're not. I guess they're what are they? They correct the geometry in the back because where they mount to the knuckle is further down than the stem. So when you compress that side, it doesn't change tow much. So it takes a lot of the snap out of the car. It's still a handful with no aero at NCM, but it's rewarding when you get it right, and that's the whole thing about S2000s. I think is if you do if you're good with your line, then it rewards you on the as a result.
Yeah.
Your lap time, you're rewarded with a lap time if you clean up your lines and you get that right. Versus the STI is like it sticks no matter what. You point and shoot it, and the STI is like, how brave are you? That's pretty much it. It's so easy to drive it fast, and you don't, especially with sticky tires. I'm not gonna say you don't learn anything, but you can build bad habits really easily driving the STI.
I feel that all-wheel drive has a lot of help.
Yeah, especially when you have like all the aero, and then you've got sticky tires, and then you've got good suspension. It's like probably not the best car to like learn to track with. Not with that many mods or like that extensively modded.
Yeah.
2000's definitely like the red one. It's got some old crusty suspension on it. It's pretty much a wheel and tire car.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like they're old like D2 coils, aren't they?
Yeah, I think 2 of them at least. The threaded bodies are messed up on them, so I can't even change height. But I never intended to like keep them on the car forever. I just wanted to see like how well the car would do with a super basic setup, and it's got all new bushings and everything. So it's.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did that. Yeah, I forgot you did that.
But I mean, it's great. I can lap all day with it, and that was the whole point of the car. But
especially to drive there and drive home.
Oh yeah, that's the best feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Or drive to the track, beat on it all day.
Yeah.
Drive it home.
Yeah.
Just full of tire streaks all down the side. Like It's the best, man. Wearing the number on the car and everything. It's like, okay, you just went from like a car show car to okay, you actually use the car, and that's can't take that away from me. That's you can win all the awards at the car shows, but like that feeling right there is bar none in my book.
I'm still so like happy about how well that hardtop matches.
It's crazy. That final wrap is amazing. I don't know how it got so dang close, and it's not even like a special order or anything like that. It's off the shelf.
Off the shelf, yep.
So like along the lines of like grassroots motorsports and people being into cars because they're trendy. I've met a lot of like really good people through tracking the STI and tracking the S2000. And it's funny that like I would say the people who are in it because it's trendy, the relationships that they build are probably not the same as the ones you build at the track, or like consistently going to a car show and like having parts on your car that are at a certain level where you can hit up your buddy and be like, hey man, I'm looking for this part, super rare, do you have any links? And then you just build this tree of people who now want to help you build your car or whatever, in good parts. Same thing with grassroots or tracking your car in general. I mean, it's funny to see if you have a failure at the track, everybody jumps in to try to help as much as they can.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference from you go to these car shows where everybody's like, it's so weird, the culture now, dude. Everybody's like, they got their fresh shoes on. It's like this like look at me vibe. It's like, check out my Yeezys or my new J's, this and this. But like when you go to the track, or even before you go on the track, you're at these car shows, it's like you want to ask somebody about a part. Some people are still weird, like, you know, oh, I don't want to tell you where I got that from, or I don't want to tell you my wheel specs.
I don't want to tell you my wheel specs, man. That's the biggest, the gatekeepers. And okay, so I understand gatekeeping sometimes.
Yeah, I understand sometimes, yeah.
If somebody asks me about anything on my car, I'm happy to tell them whatever it is. But I know some people don't feel that way, and that's just how I feel about it. I'll tell whatever, but I understand where they're coming from in gatekeeping sometimes, where people just, you know, they want these specs for TEs just because they want to make 6,000 videos on TikTok because they got, you know, and it's like ultimately it doesn't matter. They'll get them one way or another, but it's, I don't know. In my mind, it's like less homework. I think doing research about your car and the parts and all that stuff is part of the journey, and it makes it more fun because you actually did some homework about it and getting wheels to fit and all that.
It's kind of like the devil's advocate though, because you can go on Instagram and get that quick answer. You know what I mean?
You can and you can't, because
sometimes some people won't, but also, so like if for anybody who's watching, is like that's what helps when you're in the game for a while, and they know like you're actually building something that like is an extension of your person. When they're like with me and you, I mean, we've been doing this for so long. Not saying we're like above anybody. I'm just saying like we've been building these cars for so long and wasting so much money. But like a lot of times there's like a respect level, and it's like sometimes like I can ask somebody who probably won't tell somebody in the comments something, but I can message them personally, and that's another good way of doing it. Is just message them personally instead of on a comment base.
True.
And be like, hey dude, how did you get this to fit? I'm having issues or whatever.
Yeah.
But also trial and error is
that's the best friend right there, because then you not only like know what works and doesn't work, but you can give somebody else that advice. Especially if they like went down the same route and got stuck at the same part. I've also got that in the reverse direction though. When I got the Supra, I was trying to fit some wheels on it. I haven't put wheels on it.
Dude, I forget you even have a Supra, by the way.
I know, me too.
Yeah, anyway. just no big deal. It's just like the supercar.
So this guy, I forgot who it was, some Instagram famous guy, had some really nice looking works on his Supra, and I didn't know what, you know how Work does their multi-piece wheels. They have like a disc face for brake clearance.
Yeah. O and A.
O disc, A disc, R disc. They've got a bunch of them. L, whatever. So he's got like a really aggressive front wheel on his Supra. Cleared the brakes and everything.
Your front fenders, are your front fenders metal or plastic?
On the Supra?
Yeah.
They're all of them are metal because it's part of the hood.
Oh yeah.
And they're like rolled. It's just sheet metal that comes over.
Yeah, so it's real thin.
Yeah, there's no lip or anything on it.
That's
and the
nice.
back doesn't have a lip on it either. So
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So yeah, he had some like really aggressive works on his car, and I like the look of it and everything. And along the same lines as you just messaging people and being at, I don't know if it's like a follower count or I don't know what it is, but this guy like completely ignored my completely ignored, never answered it. And I was like, all right, cool, it's whatever. I'll do my research like I've done a million times before and get to it, but it doesn't always work, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think. Do you think most people are going 18s or 19s on Supras?
The performance people are definitely going 18s.
Better tire options, huh?
Yeah, cheaper tires, better options, and
Papa John's.
Yeah, you could definitely do square setup is where it's at for that car. Just like the square setup.
Does the Supra look like it's got a lot of room for like depth and offset, or not really?
Oh, it's got tons of space. I think you can fit like a I forgot what the exact number was, but with the right offset and stuff, I think I've seen people fit like an 11 in the rear, maybe like a 13, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Something insane, but like the offset was like bang on.
Yeah.
There's no, and when you run that kind of wheel, it's like there's not a lot of inbound clearance because the wheel's so wide, so that offset, it's real close to like suspension components at that point. It's not so much like you run an 11 or a 13 or whatever it is, and it's past the fender or whatever. It fits to the fender because the offset's like low enough that all that meat's go into the.
So you're actually utilizing all the actual fitment.
As much room as possible, like literally as much as the fender can hold.
That's what I like about those CCW spec S2000 wheels.
They fit everything in there. It's right on.
Dude, 18 by 10 plus like 51 offset in the front, 18 by like 11 and a half or an 11 plus 57. So you can run a 285 on a stock bodied S2000.
Well, that's chunky boy stuff. That's chunky boy for sure.
It's too much for that horsepower, but
you got a solid 160 horsepower trying to spin 11s in the rear.
But that is actually too, like, that's a whole nother topic. Actually maximizing your fitment versus the hot boy fitment.
100%. And so like that's what I did with the STIs. I tried to maximize just how much tire I can fit in it. And as I was saying before, like Volks used to be, the T37s on that car used to be a big deal because it was 9.5 plus 22 and it was a hard fitment. But
that's concave spec too.
Yeah, I think it's phase 2. I don't remember, but it wasn't like maximum concave. It wasn't a 9.5 plus 22 concave, but they had some concave to it.
Yeah,
that's still running on it too. But yeah. So if you didn't want to run a 9.5 plus 22 when the GR STI came out, you could fit the 10 plus 40 plus 39. You could fit it on a GD STI, but you had to do a lot of massaging to get it to fit. Like the usual, you got to roll and pull the fenders and everything, but you had to do a lot of minor adjustments with the coilovers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was one of those things I was trying to maximize all the fender room. So not just like towards the fender, but the inbound space I was trying to.
Right.
And the fitment's all real close. It's close to the fender. It's close to the suspension components, but it tracks just fine. And 265 on it. I could probably do a 275, but
that'd be dope.
That was pretty much the goal of that setup, was to just maximize wheel fitment like CCW does with their wheels. And then
you've got enough power for that 275.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but I've never been at a loss for I've never been
grip.
Like some more grip with 265, especially if you don't go with like some like cheap tires. That car's always been on 200 tread wear summers.
That's another thing. The hype dudes on the R888Rs at shows.
Man, the Cali dudes love that tire, and you look at damn, this is gonna problem something. But you look at most of the people running R888s, which are probably a lot of the Cali dudes. Not a single heat cycle through them. They look brand new. Mm-hmm. They still got the lines that go down the side, and like you can tell when somebody's tracked a tire because you can see it's been melted before. It's been cycled before, and those.
That's a feeling on its own too, to heat up a tire like that.
For real, I look at that too. Like when I'm at a car, I'm like, I'm stupid when I go to car shows.
Yeah.
If running some 200 tread wear or below, I'm looking at it to see if like you actually used it or you came to the car show for it.
Unfortunately, I haven't used my 212 wares in quite a while, but
Which ones? The
uh,
650.
so the 615 that I put on the EM1 on the this yellow one, not the yellow one I had for like 3 days.
Yeah, 660s on.
I had 660s on the EM1
Okay, and then you had 615s on the last yellow
on the
SD.
spa, yeah, on the spa yellow on the Rega Masters.
Mm-hmm.
This car, dude, I don't know yet. I'm still so torn between rolling the fenders and
Man, it's tricky because that car's low mileage and
well, especially
like
too when you got like some OGs in the game hitting me up and like, I'll share their cars and they're like, yo, dude, they're like, hold off as long as you can. They're like, just find some wheels that fit and just roll with it until the time being and don't roll those fenders yet. And I'm
yeah,
like,
but what are they? What's their end game? Like, what are they? Why are they telling you that? Because they expect you to sell it one day?
no, they're saying it because it's so hard to find a car now without them rolled and all
Yeah,
that
but that's
stuff.
the assumption that you're gonna eventually sell the car.
Sell
If you
it,
keep
right?
forever, then
Not
roll them.
yet.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'll end up rolling them. I'll roll them too for it's just got to be the right set of wheels.
Yeah,
I want SE 37Ks, I think, or RE 30s.
man, I would love a set of those. I know where you can get some RE30s.
I know I'm looking at them. That might we might make something work on that because
I don't.
I would love that spec. Love that spec.
You definitely have to roll them fenders for that though. The boy's aggressive.
Yeah, and I'm so scared about doing fronts. I've never been perfect at getting front fenders to not crack.
You have to take a dose of the I don't care and just go for it. No, it was easy on my car.
Just close my eyes and roll.
I hammer rolled mine and they were. I just heated them up a whole lot and hammer rolled it. But then I can also hide the sins with the vinyl
The
wrap.
wrap, right?
So whatever happened to crack, I just touched up, painted it, and then wrapped it, and it was all good.
Right. Oh, on the car show vibes versus like uh at a track vibes. That's another like how you were saying. So like I really noticed the camaraderie between like the Spec E30 guys that are
Yeah.
out there. Like, dude, if like, because all their cars are the same. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have to be the same for their spec, for their racing. Same cages, same exhaust. The wheels have to weigh the same.
Yeah.
The motors typically need to be like horsepower ranges have got to be in the same with the torque, all that. But like if something breaks, those dudes are like no problem to be right there to help any
Yeah.
of them. And then like, but you notice that with almost like any of those guys. Like if you were like, dude, can I borrow your jack or like whatever?
Yeah.
They're like, dude, absolutely. And it's like a way different type of vibe than going to like a car show. Way
And I
different.
might think like all car. I think it's like the generation. It's a generation thing with cars.
Unfortunately, it's our younger generation.
Because when we went to car shows and we had an issue, it'd be like whoever was there would try to help. Like we're not
Yeah.
going to leave somebody behind.
No,
But
yeah.
it's definitely a generation thing. I think as a whole, it's a generation thing.
We're getting old.
But I think okay, so like I think we are getting old. It's a generation thing for sure with car shows. But then the track like bridges that generational gap. Because you go to the track and there's some young dudes and they're getting molded into that mindset of we're at the track, it's a whole we're the camaraderie of being at the track. And they're willing to help and they're willing to receive help just fine. There's no I'm better than you kind of vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And I think so. And the
track
other
will humble you too.
Oh, 100%. And the other thing is, it's a very competitive vibe when you go to a car show anyway. So everybody's a competitor unless it's like a not judged car show or whatever.
Yeah.
But people try to make it a competition every time because you either go to a car show that's like judged or not judged, or you go to a car show and you're trying to get the most pictures taken and video of your car, and all that stuff. But for us, I mean, when we did car shows, it wasn't we'd help whoever.
Yeah.
We'd be competing. And it's funny too because I was never competing against you guys because it's always the STI, and it was just we were in different classes anyway.
Because it was better than us. I'm just playing.
It might have been no.
It was better for a while.
It was less. I mean,
it was a lot more gooder. I'll tell you that.
More gooder. It was honestly just different. I think you guys. So I took a lot of like learning points from the Honda guys and how they built their cars.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, I'm not gonna say easy to stand out with the Subaru.
Right.
I just did what I liked, and then did what I admired, which was how clean the Honda guys did their cars. So it was pretty easy to stand out in Subaru world. For I'm not gonna say like, oh my god, like holy grail of Subaru builds or whatever.
Well, there's not many though.
It was easy to stand out as being, okay, this car is like pretty decently put together, and compared to the rest, it was, if I followed that basic recipe that the Honda guys always followed, then that came together. But the Honda, man, it's always been tough for you guys.
Honda, I think Subaru guys, it's a whole nother. You have the Subaru guys that just don't care. You got those. I mean, we have it with Hondas, but what I'm getting at is like the Subaru guys that don't care. But then you got the Subaru guys that are diehard Subaru guys. That's a level of commitment. Because
I'm never gonna not have mine unless something terrible happens. But
yeah, but I just feel like with the talk about the motors and this and I don't know. It just takes a lot to deal with that type of stress while enjoying a car and beating on it at the same time. Because with the Honda, you got like, so even like the S2000, the motors are expensive, but like,
not gonna let go easily.
I wouldn't think it would let go easily. Unlike a Subaru, where we always hear these like trash things, like, oh, it'll blow up or whatever. But same thing with like the Porsches that I've had. They say the IMS bearings, and it's like, who knows the like real level of it, but
yeah,
still.
And I guess that's a good topic too. It's hard to have a recipe to hand somebody for Subarus and be like, do this and it won't blow up.
Yeah.
Because everybody maintains differently. Every car's had a different history. Everybody that monitors like vitals of the engine, it's like, how granular are you when you're monitoring oil temperature and oil pressure, and how do you drive the car before the oil's up to temperature and all these other things. Like how OCD are you about just monitoring the vitals of the car? So it's hard to get somebody just a recipe and be like, here, this worked for me, so it's gonna 100% it's gonna work for you too. And I think, at least for Subarus, it's that recipe it's hard to hand somebody that information and have it like one size fits all.
Yeah.
Like, the cars are particular. They're not. I'm not gonna say they're not. They're 100% like very particular, and I think they're marketed to like the wrong type of people. They're marketed as a car that you can drive hard just right off the bat, like a Honda or whatever. Like an enthusiast level Honda, and it's not so, because as evidence shows, they blow up in oil consumption, they spin bearings and all kinds of stuff. So they're not. You have to be a very particular type of person to own one and keep it running. And
is that because of the geometry of the motor, like the pistons and all that?
So being horizontally opposed, there's a lot of things. There's cast pistons, so they crack if there's crazy detonation going on.
Yeah.
So if the tune's off,
so they're not forged pistons either.
No, not on the US models. We've got forged crank and forged connecting rods on the STIs, but the pistons are hyper eutectic cast. Materials engineering, but it's they're supposed to be as strong as you can get for cast pistons, but
still cast.
It's still cast, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so many factors that go into why those engines don't last, and I think most of it is, honestly, it's a very slim like manufacturing thing.
I think it's more user.
Very much but you can't even blame the user, because they're just driving it like a regular car. They don't know that they need to be this particular about it.
Right.
And in fact, you do. So it's a slippery slope to argue, especially when people have blown up motors and then spent a whole bunch of money to build a good one, and then that one blows up too. So you're essentially telling people, oh, you don't know how to drive, or you don't know how to maintain. Nobody wants to hear that after they've dumped so much money into a rebuild or whatever. So I just let them, sucks, man. Maybe it wasn't for you, or whatever. Stick with the platform if you want. If not, it's completely up to you.
Right. That's a level of commitment.
Yeah, I knew from the get-go that if mine blew up, I was gonna just build a motor, and then I got the S2000, and that is, knock on wood, probably never gonna blow up. But
you're welcome.
If it does, then it's $2 to put. Well, not anymore. It used to be $2 to put a new motor in it, but
Do you think you'll go K?
I don't think I want to do that to the car. I want to leave it as pure as possible.
I think so.
Which is a terrible mindset, but I've wanted an S2000 since I was a teenager, and I don't think I will ever be track competitive enough that a K would make a difference.
Right.
But so I just want to enjoy the car for what it is, and just be faster as far as my driving goes, not the car,
Yeah, I love that motor. I don't know. I don't know if
I like it. It's great. It's different because it's got no torque, but it's real different going from an STI to driving that.
You got to drive mine, see what you think about the torque.
Hey, you got the 2.2, huh?
And it's supposed to be the holy grail because it's an 05, so I'm not sure what the difference with the 05s. 04 and 05s, I guess, is supposed to be like the big deal because it's not
drive-by-wire.
Yeah, it's still the throttle cable.
Yep, which makes a massive difference. Because I drove that weight, and I was like, man, I can't. It doesn't. Just the throttle response isn't there like it should be, in my opinion. Because it's not that signal. The throttle body is a potentiometer, and then it goes to the ECU, and the ECU interprets where the throttle blade should be set at, and it's a whole thing.
That's kind of a lot to go through just on a pedal push.
Yep.
But there is also that you can tune that, right?
Yeah.
Can't you? So.
Yeah, you can have what do they call it again? A pedal commander or whatever that intercepts that signal and gets it to respond faster. I don't know what the negatives are to that, but I think having driven the S2000, I will always prefer cable throttle over.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh, my 07, which I didn't notice though. I mean, that car was on Flash Pro, so it ran pretty good.
Maybe that's why after you get it tuned, it's a little bit more responsive. But yeah, I still not a fan of drive-by-wire. It's not bad. It's just I prefer cable.
I'd rather the cable too. The let's see, I didn't know too. So we were talking about how we could do like an Instagram highlight on someone's post or page or whatever, like just to
pick a car.
Yeah, just kind of share like somebody's car that we like, that we both think is a very nice build, and like someone that's worth a follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his.
Did we have somebody that submitted one? Or
no, they didn't submit it. Because I was gonna make that a post, and I'm trying to find that guy's Instagram name. I was almost positive. Yeah, all right, I found him. So I sent you that. I don't know if I sent it to you, but he's got a white EK hatch.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned it.
And it's like nice. He's one of his recent posts, spoon coilovers. He's got spoon wheels, spoon exhaust, spoon front brakes, and it's like really nice. His Instagram name is funny too. So it's hi_I'm_hung. So HUNG.
What does that mean, Doug? I don't know.
It's his name. So don't be weird. I'm just playing. That's a great name though. So hi, I'm hung, and there's underscores in between hi and then hung. So but dude, his car. I mean, spoon seats, spoon lip. It's gutted. CTR headlights. I mean, this thing's dope.
Nice.
TEs, yeah. He's got TEs and other pictures. But I figured that was something cool to do. I'll try and share. Let's see. I don't know if it'll focus on it, but it's worth a shot. Maybe.
No, it's struggling.
It's struggling, but it's all right.
We'll throw it up on the edit or something like that, or we'll do it for the next episode.
Yeah, and I'll screenshot it too, just so I have the thought. But I just figured that was something cool. We'll keep the car people happy. But I think realistically, that's kind of sums up a good first episode.
I think
We have
how long did it end up being?
This one's we're almost at 50 minutes right now.
5-0?
5-0, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got to do some editing on that. We'll just like take bits and pieces off of this and the best discussion parts, and then
peace.
That's it. That's literally gonna be it, and then
that's fine. We'll fuck it. I don't care.
That's it. Damn, that was easy.
We just did my leg. So.
Oh man.
No, that was